Hello, this is a special broadcast on Capital Radio in partnership with the BBC World Service, keeping you up to date with the latest in the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Today, we're getting in touch with the BBC sport reporter, Katie Smith. Hello, Katie. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Now you're covering the Olympics. The postponed 2020 Olympic Games officially got underway yesterday with the opening ceremony in Tokyo. It was a more subdued affair than usual, taking place in an empty stadium amid coronavirus restrictions. What did you make of it all?
Yeah, it was a really a mixed affair, I think, this. It was very somber in tone for the first 40 minutes of the opening ceremony. The performance was all reflecting about people staying at home during the pandemic. They looked at athletes having to train alone, and of course the irony being that no crowds were allowed, as you mentioned, so people really were staying at home. There was a 1-minute silence as well where they asked everyone to remember those who've lost their lives in this pandemic that's now been affecting the world for a year and a half. Then the tone changed, and it was looking at the real Olympic ideals of unity, hope and overcoming. And that's when the athletes' parade began. Of course, many fewer athletes than we normally see at this moment in the Olympics. And there has been a bit of controversy since then about the number of athletes who weren't wearing masks for the opening ceremony. The Olympics executive director, Christophe Soubi, has today said that athletes will be punished if they continue to ignore anti-COVID measures, of course, put in place to keep everyone safe. And that's because most of the Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan team members, along with both of the flag bearers for Pakistan, weren't wearing their masks. But I think after all the scandals leading up to the opening ceremony, we of course saw 2 people leaving the creative team just in the week before. There was a really beautiful moment where Naomi Osaka, of course, a tennis star, Japan's darling of the games, lit the cauldron, and she sort of ascended a figurative Mount Fuji, and it was really stunning. It was very moving, and she officially opened the Tokyo Games. She's been in the limelight recently talking about her mental health, and hopefully she can really produce for the home nation of Japan in the next couple of weeks. But she tweeted that it was her greatest honor, and that was a really beautiful way, I think, to end the ceremony. And I think it's important to mention as well that there were a lot of crowds outside the stadium. They just wanted to come and see what was going on, what the Olympics were like. We've heard that the Japanese public aren't particularly keen on the games going ahead, but a lot of people did want to come and see what was going on. Just to mention as well, it seems, the unluck continues for Japan, because they're expecting some really bad weather in the next few days as well. There's a typhoon expected on Tuesday, so we could see some changes to the rowing schedule coming up. But yeah, the opening ceremony, one of mixed emotions, but the games are officially underway.
Mixed emotions indeed. Must have been also some memorable moments. But Katie, let's take a look at the games are now in full swing, starting yesterday. What have the highlights been so far? Like, have there been any medals won yet?
Yeah, we've had a couple of medals already. The first 2, both going to China, of course, a powerhouse at the Olympics, aren't they? And the very first medal winner, gold medal winner, I should say, was Chinese shooter Yang Qian, who won gold in the 10 meters rifle event. The medal ceremony, though, again, like everything this year, looking very different. She had to put the medal round her own neck, had to sing the national anthem behind a mask, no crowd watching her. But there were crowds at the finish of the men's cycling road race. That's technically finishing outside of Tokyo, so there were allowed some crowds there. That was a brilliant race, and the gold went to Ecuador's Richard Carapaz. It was raced over 6 hours in 80% humidity. That's been a talking point at the Games already, just how hot it is. But it's only their second ever gold, Ecuador, at the Olympics, so a huge achievement for him. The Tour de France champion, Tadej Pogacar of Slovenia, could only finish 3rd in that race. Very grueling. And then a couple of other highlights for you, Eric. At the athletics, the gymnastics, Japanese star, he's a huge name in Japan, Koi Uchimura. He's the all-round 2012 and 2016 champion. He's out already. He said he would retire after these games. He was only going in one event, that was the high bars, and he fell off during qualifying, so he is out. I just wanted to mention as well the game's youngest competitor this year. She's only 12 years old, from Syria, Hen Zara. in the table tennis. So an amazing achievement for her to qualify. She did lose her first game. That was to a 39-year-old Ji Lu from Austria, so a very experienced opponent. But afterwards, the 12-year-old said, you know, she was just wanted to help other young kids achieve their dreams. She's had a really tough upbringing in the war-torn country. So beautiful to see that moment.
Yeah.
And then elsewhere, the women's football continues as well. So Zambia in action at the moment. They were losing 3-1 to China a little while ago. And then world champions USA are going to be playing later as well.
Thank you so much, Katie. Would really like to appreciate you for those details, and we wish good luck to the rest of the people participating there at the Olympic Games.
Absolutely a pleasure.
Definitely. That was the BBC sport reporter, Katie Smith there, keeping us up to date with the latest at the Olympic Games. I'm Eric Kawa.